For years, he stayed silent, watched, listened, served the most powerful family in Britain, and kept their secrets. But now, former royal butler Grant Harrold is finally speaking out. And what he's revealing about Queen Camilla will change everything you thought you knew. Was she cold and calculated, or the quiet heart of the royal family? From secret barbecues to private moments behind palace walls, Harrold lifts the veil on the woman who now sits beside the king. Why now? Why her? And what really went on behind closed doors? This is the royal truth we weren't supposed to hear. The Butler speaks. For nearly a decade, Grant Harrold lived in the royal world, but silently. As a trusted royal butler to then Prince Charles, Harrold saw what cameras never captured. And while many expected him to keep those moments locked away forever, Harrold has finally decided to share. But why now? It's not about gossip, he said in an interview. It's about humanizing the monarchy, letting people know what life inside the royal bubble is really like. Harrold isn't spilling secrets to stir drama. His mission is to pull back the curtain and show people what really happens behind palace walls. One of the most surprising parts of his story? The calm, composed, and often misunderstood Queen Camilla. According to Harrold, Camilla wasn't the cold figure the media once painted her to be. She was funny, approachable, and incredibly down-to-earth, he shared. This fresh view of Camilla comes at a time when people are curious about how she's settling into her new role as queen. So why is Harrold speaking now? With Queen Elizabeth gone and King Charles on the throne, the royal family is evolving. Harrold seems to believe the time is right to help the public understand how roles have shifted, especially Camilla's. And that leads us to a much more personal question. Who really is Camilla behind closed doors? Is she just the queen consort? Or something more? Let's find out. Camilla behind closed doors. Away from the cameras and grand entrances, Queen Camilla is a very different figure than most imagine. Grant Harrold paints a surprising picture of a woman who brings calm, warmth, and quiet strength into any room she enters. She had this calming energy, Harrold recalled. Whenever there were nerves or tension in the air, Camilla would lighten the mood. In a royal world filled with protocol and pressure, that kind of presence made a huge difference. Camilla never tried to take over the spotlight, but her influence was there, subtle and consistent. Harrold explained that she helped make events run smoother by paying attention to people's needs, both big and small. A kind word here, a knowing glance there. These things mattered. One of the most noticeable dynamics, Harrold said, was her bond with Charles. They're a great match. You can tell they have each other's backs. Their shared sense of humor, trust, and comfort with one another created a sense of balance that helped steady the room. And it wasn't just Charles she connected with. Camilla also built quiet relationships within the family. She listened, she observed, and over time, she earned respect, not through power, but through presence. So where does all this come together? At the one royal event that strips away titles and focuses on family. The royal barbecue. And what really happens when the royals gather around a grill may just surprise you. The royal barbecue. Yes, even the royals have barbecues, but this isn't your casual weekend get-together with paper plates and plastic forks. When the royal family gathers outdoors, it's equal parts tradition, etiquette, and family bonding. Grant Harrold revealed a side of the royals most people have never seen. It was very much a team effort, he said. And unlike most royal events, this one didn't rely on staff. They did it themselves, The staff didn't do it. King Charles would toss salads with Queen Elizabeth. Prince Philip would grill while Princess Anne prepped side dishes. Even Camilla had her role, though less about cooking and more about keeping the vibe relaxed and gracious. Harold hinted she was the social glue, helping everyone enjoy themselves. While she wasn't flipping burgers, her presence helped guide the rhythm of the gathering. But make no mistake, this was no casual picnic. Dress codes mattered. "You'd better dress up. No t-shirts allowed," Harold warned. Men wore pressed shirts and chinos. Women chose elegant cocktail dresses if weather allowed. Even in an informal setting, the royal family held on to tradition. Plastic cups? Forget it. Outdoor furniture was brought in, china and proper cutlery were laid out, and even napkins, not serviettes, were essential. "Plastic is not acceptable," Harold said firmly, "and if you think the food and setting were strict, just wait until you hear how the royals handle fashion. Because in this world, your outfit doesn't just say who you are, it tells a royal story." The power of presentation. When it comes to the royal family, appearance isn't just about looking good. It's about sending the right message. And according to Grant Harrold, Queen Camilla understands that better than most. "If it's at the palace, you wear smart day wear," Harrold explained. Men were expected to wear crisp shirts, tailored chinos, and sometimes jackets. For women, cocktail dresses or refined summer outfits were the norm, even for an outdoor lunch. This wasn't about being flashy. It was about keeping up standards. Camilla never overdressed. She didn't need to. Her quiet elegance did the talking. "She understood what was appropriate," Harold said. Whether standing beside Charles or chatting with guests, Camilla always looked the part, never underdressed, never trying too hard. Accidents could happen, of course. What if someone spilled wine or sauce? "If you spill something but it isn't noticeable, leave it," Harold advised. "Looking down draws more attention." This is why many royals, including Camilla, often carried backup outfits. Always prepared, always composed. More than just fashion, these choices were about image, tradition, presence. Camilla's style wasn't about trends, it was about timeless dignity. And through that, she quietly helped keep royal customs alive. But it wasn't just clothes and appearances that Camilla helped preserve. She also became part of a deeply rooted system, where each royal had a job to do, especially during family gatherings. So how did they divide responsibilities, and what role did Camilla really play? Let's take a look. Duty and division. How royals share the load. You might assume that during royal family events, everything is handled by staff. But Grant Harrold says that couldn't be further from the truth, especially when it came to family barbecues or private gatherings. The roles were very much divided, Harrold explained, and surprisingly, the royal family liked it that way. King Charles and Queen Elizabeth often prepared food side by side. Prince Philip, with his sleeves rolled up, would take control of the grill. Princess Anne would help with plating and side dishes. Harrold added, "It's probably fair that the person who is best at cooking is the one who should be doing the barbecue." It wasn't about rank, it was about what each person was best at. These small moments showed that inside the family, tradition and practicality worked hand in hand. Camilla, too, played her part. While she might not have been grilling next to Philip, her role was essential. Harrold suggests she was always involved in managing the tone and feel of the gathering, ensuring everything flowed smoothly. Whether she helped set tables or coordinated small details with other family members, she was always engaged. Traditionally, the women handled table settings, and in royal style, even this came with high standards. "Plastic is not acceptable," Harrold said. Everything had to be proper. china, silver cutlery, and cloth napkins. Camilla, with her appreciation for etiquette, made sure nothing looked out of place. But while Camilla quietly blended into these roles, one relationship held enormous weight behind the scenes. What was her real dynamic with Queen Elizabeth? And were they really aligned? Or was there quiet tension behind palace walls? Let's explore. Camilla and the Queen. For years, people wondered, what did Queen Elizabeth truly think of Camilla? The public had questions, and the palace kept its silence. But Grant Harrold, who worked closely with both sides, offered a few subtle clues. According to him, Camilla and the late Queen had a relationship built on quiet respect. It wasn't loud, it wasn't overly affectionate, Harrold explained, but there was understanding. The Queen, known for her sense of duty and tradition, seemed to recognize Camilla's effort to fit in, without demanding attention. Camilla, for her part, never tried to compete with Queen Elizabeth. She stayed in her lane, avoided headlines, and let her actions speak louder than her titles. She never tried to overshadow anyone, Harrold noted, and that humility may have worked in her favor. Still, it's no secret that Camilla's journey into the royal family was not an easy one. For years, she was seen as the outsider, the one people didn't want. But as time passed, the Queen's actions told their own story. By granting her the title Queen Consort and gradually including her in more public-facing roles, Elizabeth made it clear: Camilla was here to stay. What's even more interesting is that both women valued tradition. Camilla respected the old ways, and Elizabeth noticed, whether it was dress code, etiquette, or event planning, Camilla played by the rules. And in doing so, she earned quiet approval from the woman at the top. And speaking of traditions, who really decided the rules when it came to hosting? Was it the Queen, Charles, or was Camilla quietly guiding the way all along? Let's take a look at the Royal Code of Hosting and the clues that suggest Camilla had more influence than we thought. Royal Rules of Hosting. Hosting a royal event isn't just about setting the table and serving food. It's about setting the tone. And while many assume those decisions came from Charles or the late Queen, Grant Harrold's insights suggest Camilla may have been more involved than anyone realized. From the way guests were welcomed, to how tables were laid, to the unspoken rules about fashion and manners, Camilla had a strong sense of what was appropriate. It's always up to the host to decide the dress code, Harrold reminded us. And behind those decisions, Camilla often had a say. She paid attention to every little detail. Whether it was recommending fine china over casual plates or making sure cloth napkins, not serviettes, were used, Camilla's eye for presentation helped shape the environment. Harrold added, "Make sure you've got napkins, never serviettes." That kind of distinction mattered in royal settings. More than just style, Camilla had a practical sense of what made events run smoothly. She wasn't trying to be flashy, but she knew how to make things feel polished and intentional. Whether advising on who should sit where or how the table looked, she brought a calm authority to the process. And even if she wasn't publicly praised for it, her influence didn't go unnoticed. Over time, many of the subtle hosting standards once associated with the Queen began to reflect Camilla's softer, more modern touch. It wasn't about replacing the old ways, but refining them gently. So, we've seen Camilla's influence on hosting and traditions, but what about her relationship with Charles in these personal settings? Was it just royal partnership or something deeper? Let's take a closer look at Charles, Camilla, and the grill that brought them closer together. Grill Master Charles. If you ever pictured King Charles III, then Prince Charles, flipping burgers in the garden, You're not far off. According to Grant Harrold, the royal barbecues weren't just about food. They were about bonding. And Charles loved to get involved. He would do the salad with Queen Elizabeth, Harrold recalled. Prince Philip would do the barbecue with Princess Anne. It wasn't just delegation, it was tradition. Each member had a role. But what about Camilla? She didn't hover by the grill or direct from the sidelines. Instead, Camilla let Charles shine. She offered support, made sure guests were comfortable, and helped manage the social flow. According to Harrold, she was incredibly good at making people feel at ease. And that, at royal events, can be just as important as flipping a steak. Their chemistry was natural. Camilla's calm presence allowed Charles to relax. Whether working side by side or simply exchanging glances during awkward moments, the two worked as a quiet team. "They're in sync," Harrold observed. "You could tell." The barbecue may have been a casual event, but it showed something deeper. A love language rooted in shared tasks and private jokes. Camilla wasn't just present. She was Charles's partner in everything, from royal appearances to outdoor cookouts. But while Charles found comfort in Camilla's company, there was something else brewing, a slow, quiet rise. A strategy that would carry her from misunderstood outsider to queen consort. So how did she pull it off? The answer lies in how she used subtlety and timing to her advantage. Camilla's secret strategy. When Camilla first entered the royal spotlight, she knew she couldn't force people to accept her. So she did something much smarter. She blended in. Grant Harrold hints that this wasn't weakness. It was her long-term strategy. She never tried to make it about her, Harrold noted. That alone set her apart. Instead of grabbing attention, she built trust quietly. She showed up, stayed consistent, and respected the royal way of life. No shortcuts, no drama. At events, she didn't command the room, but she didn't vanish either. She was always present, polite and aware. Over time, people got used to her. Then, they grew to like her. That's how Camilla won the palace, one small moment at a time. Even during more private family affairs, like the barbecues, her influence was felt. She helped with table settings, coordinated conversations, and handled awkward family dynamics with grace. She made people feel calm, Harrold explained. Her greatest power wasn't noise, it was presence, the ability to guide without showing control. And the beauty of it all? Most people didn't even realize she was doing it. But how does someone stay poised through all of that? How do you quietly win hearts while staying true to yourself? For Camilla, it all came down to one key trait: simplicity. And her wardrobe revealed more about her mindset than most people noticed. Camilla's secret weapon. Fashion has always played a major role in royal life. But unlike others who dazzled with diamonds and bold colors, Queen Camilla chose a different path. Simplicity, subtlety, elegance that didn't scream, but whispered. She understood what was appropriate, Grant Harrold said of her wardrobe choices, and that's the key word: appropriate. Camilla didn't wear things to impress. She wore things to reflect calm confidence and a deep respect for the occasion. At royal barbecues, while others might worry about matching the grandeur of Buckingham Palace, Camilla kept it refined. A soft dress, neutral tones, and always polished. Never underdone, never too much. Always balanced. And she was prepared. If you're a member of the royal family, you always have a spare outfit, Harrold revealed. Camilla knew that even one stain, one mistake, could create headlines. So she planned, quietly, carefully. This attention to detail sent a message. I belong here, and I respect this space. In a world obsessed with flash and flare, Camilla's quiet style became her shield and her signature. It helped her gain trust, avoid unnecessary criticism, and prove she understood the monarchy's deeper values. But here's the bigger question. Was all of this genuine? Or was Camilla simply playing the long game? What did these royal events really feel like to those inside? Was it family or just formality? Let's go deeper. Family or formality? When the cameras are gone and the palace gates are closed, do the royals truly act like a family? Or is it all just tradition wrapped in formality? According to Grant Harrold, it's a little bit of both. And Queen Camilla? She walks that line better than most. Harrold described the royal barbecues and gatherings as very much family affairs. But there were still rules, still structure, and always an undertone of expectation. That meant even when things were relaxed, everyone was still on. Camilla, however, helped soften the edges. She didn't just follow the rules, she helped others feel comfortable within them. She had this lovely way of bringing calm, Harrold said. That calm wasn't just for show. It helped younger royals and nervous guests feel like they belonged. But still, not everyone found these events easy. Harrold hinted that while laughter and lightness filled the air, there was always a sense of pressure. Titles didn't vanish just because someone was flipping burgers. Family dynamics, past tensions, and protocol always lingered. Camilla's strength was knowing how to balance both sides. She respected the structure while keeping things human. And that quiet ability to ease people into formality without losing the warmth may be one of her most underrated gifts. And perhaps that's why Camilla became so trusted, not just by Charles, but by the royal family as a whole. But did she preserve the old royal ways, or slowly start to change them from within? Let's take a look at the traditions she kept, and those she helped evolve. Camilla's role in preserving them. Royal traditions go back centuries, and not all of them feel modern. Grant Harrold revealed that men were usually in charge of the grill, while women handled the table settings. It still seems to be the norm, he admitted. But Camilla's presence began to shift some of that thinking. She didn't break the rules outright, but she modernized the spirit behind them. Harrold described how she supported shared roles. If someone was better at something, regardless of gender, they took the lead. That small adjustment showed quiet progress. Still, Camilla respected tradition. Napkins over serviettes, china over paper, silk over synthetics. She made sure standards were kept, but never forced outdated rules on anyone. That's what made her stand out. She didn't reject the past. She refined it. And in a palace where change happened slowly, her soft approach worked. Staff noticed. Family members felt it. Guests appreciated it. She didn't need to declare a new era. She simply acted in a way that made others want to follow. Her influence, though subtle, helped usher in a gentler, more modern tone. And as Harrold suggested, the roles have to be divided, but fairly. Camilla helped shift that mindset, not through speeches or statements, but through example. And now, after everything we've learned, from quiet glances to grand garden gatherings, it all leads to one final question. Through the eyes of someone who watched it all up close, what does Grant Harrold really think of Queen Camilla? Camilla. Through the butler's eyes. After years of working inside the royal household, Grant Harrold isn't bitter. He isn't trying to shock anyone. His voice is calm, measured, and surprisingly warm when speaking about Queen Camilla. She was always kind, Harrold shared. Always respectful. That alone, in a world where power can often change people, says a lot. Camilla never treated the staff like they were beneath her. She listened. She thanked. She noticed. And perhaps most importantly, she adapted. Harrold's stories paint a picture of someone who knew she had to earn trust, not just within the family, but with the public too. And she didn't force it. She showed up, time and time again. The result? Quiet respect. While many in the public still hold mixed opinions about Camilla, Harrold's reflections offer something rare. A look at the human side of the Queen. Not just her title, not just her history, but her presence. Steady, warm, and surprisingly relatable. "She's a great support to His Majesty," Harrold concluded, "and a strong presence in her own right." And maybe that's the message that matters most. Behind the headlines and even history books is a woman who found her place, not by pushing her way in, but by patiently building a life in the spotlight with grace. From controversy to crown. It's easy to forget just how far Queen Camilla has come. Once dubbed the most hated woman in Britain, her path to public acceptance wasn't paved with charm alone. It took decades of patience, quiet strength, and calculated resilience. Grant Harrold doesn't shy away from that reality. He saw it unfold in real time. "There was a lot of tension at first," he admitted, but Camilla didn't fight back. She showed up. She stayed true. That's what changed people's minds. Not grand gestures, but consistent presence. Camilla didn't demand a spotlight. She didn't chase approval. She earned it over time. Through family functions, public engagements, and simple kindness behind closed doors, she proved she wasn't a threat. She was a stabilizer. Harrold saw her move from the background to the heart of royal life. He watched her navigate difficult conversations, awkward family dynamics, and public skepticism without losing her poise. "She's got a real backbone," he said, "but she doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard." Now, as Queen Consort, Camilla has become a symbol of quiet transformation. She didn't erase the past. She outlasted it. And by doing so, she's redefined what it means to be royal in a modern world. But what comes next for a woman who has finally stepped into her place beside the king? Will Queen Camilla become the crown's secret weapon, or its most carefully controlled figure? Let's look ahead. What's next for Queen Camilla? Now that she's officially queen, the question isn't whether Camilla belongs, it's what kind of queen she will be. Grant Harrold's behind-the-scenes stories give us a clue. Expect quiet strength, not loud leadership. Camilla doesn't want to dominate the monarchy. She wants to protect it. And that's exactly what makes her so valuable to King Charles. "She's his anchor," Harrold said, "his constant." That role is more important than ever as the royal family faces a world of change. With Prince William and Princess Kate rising in profile, and Prince Harry and Meghan creating waves from abroad, Camilla offers something rare: stability. She's not chasing headlines. She's not feeding drama. She's holding the center while others orbit around. In the years ahead, we may see Camilla take on more quiet projects, championing causes, guiding younger royals, and ensuring that royal traditions evolve without breaking. Harrold hinted that she's already a mentor figure, especially to those who've married into the family. She'll likely never be the face of the monarchy, but she just might be its foundation. And that, in the unpredictable world of royalty, might be the most powerful position of all. So now we ask you, was Queen Camilla always meant for the crown, or did she quietly build her path one thoughtful moment at a time? One thing's for sure. In the words of someone who saw it all firsthand, she belongs there. And if this is just the beginning of her legacy, we're only scratching the surface. Stay tuned.